Some they call it functional alcoholism, but if you know anything about Ben, he's got vision with precision, microphones and a tinkle of derision. You're about to hear what beer can be. It's time for Barley and me.
Welcome to Barley and Me. I'm your host, Ben Rice. This is episode 120. We're here today in Sacramento, California at Tower Brewing. With us today, a smorgasbord of Tower Brewing representatives. With us today, we got Mike Ungerbuhler, the head brewer here at Tower Brewing.
That's me.
Yeah. Also, Micah Ochej.
Oh, hey.
Also a brewer here at Tower.
Also a brewer here since July.
And taproom manager Calvin Crawford.
Hello, hello.
And our special guest today, a producer of many things, it's Sydney Baker.
Beer not included.
Right. Correction. Not in production of that. We are all doing great. So, there's a lot of people here. We got a lot of things to talk about. So, how is business here at Tower Brewing? Somebody tell me.
I think that it's taken quite a turn upwards recently. We've been, since we brought back Monkey Knife Fight, been producing that beer almost every other week, brewing about 30 barrels every other week, and just keeping that train rolling. It's now in Rayleigh's and Bevmo and Total Wine, and getting out into other stores in the local area as well.
You can't get this monkey off your back if you tried.
Well, they tried.
It's that, yeah.
There's a good year.
But you can get it in a 4-pack.
That's true.
Well, and how did that transition start? Because that's such an iconic beer here in town, and I'm sure a lot of people have a lot of different opinions on it too. So how did that process get going?
Right. So in an auction, a couple of our board members bought the IP to Rubicon. And one of the most iconic Rubicon beers, Monkey Knife Fight, seemed like a really great place to start with a Rubicon legacy series, if you will, right? To bring back some of the classic Rubicon beers. Monkey Knife Fight was the first, and that's our mainstay.
But we do have more in, coming up in the works.
Mm-hmm.
So we're actually planning on releasing a beer called Hop Sauce and doing that again. And we're actually going to
double IPA.
It's a double IPA, yes. And we're going to actually reach out to some of the old Rubicon brewers and try to do a collaboration so that some of the guys that used to have their hands on it will get to kind of play around with it again.
Yeah. You guys going to bring back that winter wheat wine?
You know, I don't know that beer would sell very well anymore.
Oh, no. It would be, yeah. But,
but you would love it, is what you're
saying.
Just
a little small batch for me.
If I could, if I could brew like 3 barrels of it, that'd probably be about as much as we could.
There's a number of beers, I think, that are, back from the Rubicon days. I mean, I used to live about 2.5 blocks from Rubicon, and that was our weekend thing. Mm-hmm. Every weekend we'd go, and we'd have breakfast there. We'd get a Rubicube, the box with the plastic liner to go. So many good beers that we really enjoyed then that may not be as relevant, I think, in today's
beer industry.
Sure, and and that brings me to something too about Monkey Knife Fight is that the beer that I remember from Rubicon was a much maltier and like almost amber ale as a for a pale ale. So we dropped some of those specialty malts and kind of boosted the Cascade character and threw some Citra at it too to make it a little more modern, but while maintaining the nostalgia of that kind of pale ale.
Yeah.
Now, what I was going to say, I first moved to Sacramento in 2005, and Rubicon was my first real introduction to craft brew and the whole scene. Can you guys do me a favor and remake the wing sauce that they had there?
The what?
The wing sauce. The chicken wing sauce. Because at Rubicon, they would do something really special. I don't know what they did to that sauce.
We would have to make a lot of it to be able to do it in our kettle.
I feel like you can.
We have a 15-barrel brew house.
Right, well, just experiment with it. Have some people come in and do some sample taste. But life hack: you'd get the Cobb salad, order the chicken, have them toss it in the wing sauce, and it's so good. R.I.P. Rubicon. Your beer was good too.
I really miss their baked potatoes.
What? Why?
Because you can get a baked potato and a bowl of soup for relatively very inexpensive, right? And a couple pints. My wife and I would be out of there with $30 and a good buzz.
Yum.
And a belly full.
And
There
a
you
belly
go.
full indeed.
I know what was so nice is like when that place closed down, like it was kind of an institution, and I think where a lot of people got their launching point.
Indeed.
When it closed, people kept going to $2 Tuesdays in the front area with the lunch tables right there while it was closed. Like it was like doors
This is
locked,
where we go on
windows
Tuesday.
windows locked, and
They're
people would
just like-
still go
they're
there.
like-
And like one time
they're
I brought
drinking
deviled
Pabst
eggs.
and, like,
yes,
hanging out,
every
having
time like the
cigarettes
cops
and-
would drive by, you lower your can of beer and like look around. But yeah, for a while it was closed and making the transition to Alaro, people kept showing up for $2 Tuesdays.
It was absolutely the first because I moved to Sacramento about 12 years ago, and Rubicon was the place
Yeah.
to go, especially Tuesdays because $2.50 or $2.75 by the time they
you'll never
close, right?
find that.
No.
Yeah.
Well, and I really like what Alaro's done with the place, though. It looks
Yeah.
gorgeous in there. It really does. They
And
turned
the
that
food's
place
really
into- I mean,
good.
it's classy. It is
Yeah.
full on
Chris
classy.
and
now.
Ray have done a really good job there.
Right, and Chris is one of those former Rubicon employees that I would love to collab with again. We did a collaboration with them last year called Puesto de Limonada, which was a goza that we made
It
with
was beautiful. It
Meyer
was
lemons,
nice.
and we won a medal. I forget what frickin' medal it
The
was.
most important medal ever.
It was silver,
so
or bronze,
important.
but it was
Can't even
delicious.
say the name of it.
It was a silver at the California State Fair.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which was rad.
Yeah. But you guys are kind of your own thing. You're not just Rubicon Revisited. You guys are Tower Brewing.
Indeed. In fact, the only Rubicon beer that we have on draft
Is
is
Monkey
Monkey
Knife
Knife Fight, and that's not even air quotes Rubicon anymore, right?
Right.
That's like the beer that we here at Tower Brewing have made it to be.
Yeah.
We definitely want the nostalgia factor. We want people to recognize it as a brand, but it also needs to be kind of relative, right?
Yeah.
Or relevant is what I meant
Yeah.
to say.
That's the beer that puts Sacramento on the map if we think about it.
totally.
Or Rubicon IPA may be a better example. But still, the thing it's known for when you think about Sacramento 2000, it's Monkey Knife Fight.
Yeah.
So it's cool to have that around, even though Rubicon is not. I also noticed you guys throw a lot of references to Sacramento in your beer names. Right now you have Lavender Heights wheat beer on.
Ooh.
You got
So that was actually brewed with locally grown lavender from a farm about 30 miles away from here.
Yeah.
Really fragrant stuff. It was harvested fresh and just sent to us in a Ziploc bag. I mean, seriously, it was fantastic.
Was there anything else in that bag?
Were you wearing a trench
was the
coat and dark
vacuum-
glasses when you picked it up? Yeah.
Filled bag. You want to buy a watch?
Yes. The shady places you have to go for fresh lavender.
You have to go down an alley in Lavender Heights.
Heyo.
No, but that beer was actually Micah's baby. That was his brainchild. He was like, dude, let's make a lavender honey wit beer. And I was like, all right.
Okay.
And so we sat down at the bar and hashed out the recipe, and that was the first beer that he had his hands in.
Yeah, so we had fresh lavender as well as 3 pounds of lavender honey from France.
Oh, wow.
Oh, from France. I was going to say not local. They just said
Bougie.
France. I'm like, I guess I can't really make fun of you right now. Fair point. To kind of balance out the fragrance of the lavender, I would assume.
Right.
That sweetness kind of gives it a little bit more balance because those lavender beers can be so soapy.
Yeah.
Well, and it's a Belgian-style beer anyway, and the Belgians tend to use a lot of candy sugar, so we figured why not just substitute a little honey in.
Yeah. Then I also saw you guys have the Records IPA at the toss back to Tower Records.
That's right.
So I like that logo as well. So you guys really kind of honor what Sacramento has been and will be, which I think is very cool.
That's rad, man. Yeah.
Are you guys from here? Is everybody from here?
I'm actually from Modesto, California.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Is that home of Scott Peterson?
It is, and a lot of meth.
But there's also positive people from Modesto.
Right.
George Lucas, also from Modesto. Exactly.
No, I'm just kidding.
Myself from Modesto.
Yeah.
But very happy to have left Modesto, and I love Sacramento. I was just saying that I moved up here about 12 years ago, and this is home now. If I go anywhere else, it's gonna have like white sands and really like crystal clear blue waters.
Well, maybe at some point you could do like a testament to Modesto, like something that's honoring your hometown.
Yeah,
A little sprinkle of meth.
little
Yeah.
sprinkle of meth
Yeah.
and one missing
It's got
tooth
like an
and
edgy finish.
and
you know?
car
I think,
theft.
I think that's how you do meth in the first
little
place.
broken glass.
Yeah, it all depends on who you are.
Yeah. It's a malt liquor served in a broken glass.
Yeah.
Problem solved.
So if I can really
sounds
quick,
like home.
actually, you were talking. We're talking about the whole Rubicon, but before we get away from that, it's funny because in the background right now we have a band setting up, which is Nipper Brothers.
The Nipper
and
Brothers.
They actually came when we did the first Rosebud release, which was another
yeah.
Rubicon beer, and they're back for the second time tonight. But it was specifically geared because that was a Grateful Dead reference, and they're a Grateful Dead inspired band.
Right, and that was the second of our Rubicon Legacy series, right?
Yeah.
And that's a once a year beer. I won't brew Rosebud more often than that.
Yeah.
Because that's how it should be. That's how it was at Rubicon, and
That's how it's going to stay.
right. And it's actually still on draft at Capitol Hop Shop.
And I know
For
the
whatever that's
recipe
worth.
changed a little bit over the years at Rubicon for the Rosebud.
Right. Yeah. We Evan and I, the former head brewer, and myself, leafed through several old brew sheets and just kind of compiled the basis of the grain bill, and then
You got the grist of it, huh?
We got the grist of it. Yes, indeed, sir. And then kind of paired that down into something that was a little more apparently. I can barley
I'll be here all
understand
day.
what you're saying
Ah,
here.
yes.
Oh, boy.
Hey, Micah, on the
Andy.
count of three, let's all do a collective eye roll. One,
Right.
2, 3. Oh.
Oh, I thought,
Too bad they can't see that on the radio.
Well, that's why I
Yeah.
made the
It's-
noise. They
It's
could-
rough. It's rough.
yeah, this is the worst thing that's ever happened on this podcast.
No, I get these puns all day, every day.
All day, every day.
I love puns, as taken from the Barley and Me thing.
Right.
Spoiler alert, the beer dies at the end. Very smart. I'm very, very good at this. Anyway, I could keep talking to you guys about where you guys came from and how you guys got into beer, but that's boring. Cindy, what you up to?
I got some stuff going on. Emotionally. No, I'm just kidding. No, things
get
are
real.
going
Wait,
great.
so you have nothing emotionally going on?
Not really. Like,
She
I'm
dropped a
single.
couple
I'm
bags
kind of
off
out
when she got
there.
her, she dropped
I've
a
really been
couple bags
working
off
on
us.
me lately. It's
Yeah.
been great. No, I guess I have a few questions. Like, I don't know. You were mentioning that you have been here for 12 years, and I don't know about you guys, but it kind of feels like Sacramento's going through a weird, like, growing, not pain, but change. Like, I feel like the industry, whether it's beer or the restaurant scene or even like the comedy scene, has been doing this like kind of shift, and it's really refreshing to hear that you guys are doing something that's more like collaborative, because I feel like because there's so much competition, some lines have been drawn and everything's so like, of course you want your business to thrive, but what do you guys feel like it's been? You're celebrating your year anniversary. How's the industry going, like, on the whole? Like, do you feel like it's on a positive swing, or does it feel different to you too?
I feel like the industry always has a positive aspect to it because there is so much camaraderie between breweries. That's one of the things that drew me to brewing, was because you just don't see that in other industries. If we need some hops, or if, for whatever reason, we need to borrow a batch of yeast or something, we've got guys that we can lean on, because it is a beer community, not just it's not just a collective of businesses that happen to be doing the same thing.
I have phone numbers for people that I've never actually spoken with, but I've texted them a couple times, and I was like, hey, I lost a gasket for our filter. Do you guys maybe have one? And like 20 seconds later, he was like, let me check. And I've never spoken to this guy in person, right? And he was just that quick to be helpful. And I ended up changing my schedule around to not filter that day, so I didn't have to go and try to borrow a tiny little piece of rubber from somebody I don't know. But the cool thing was, though, is that he was that quick to be on.
He didn't leave you on red,
on
as the
ball.
kids say.
Right. No, he was on it. He was ready to help. He ended up having the gasket and was like, yeah, if you want to come and borrow it, it's all yours.
Yeah.
And
He's been there before, probably.
Yeah,
He's been
and-
like, crap.
I don't know what he looks like. I know his name.
I would like to say, though, that there's such a great spirit of community within the brewing industry in
For sure.
the Sacramento area, and looking at the number of breweries. There's over 80 breweries in the area.
And there were like 7 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just that fact, so it's come down to a point where, you kind of have to put out okay beer. You can't just be the beer, the brewery on the corner. You've got to put out some good beer in addition to that. But
That's a great thing for the industry as a whole, right? Because that competition
it brings up the level.
drives
know what it does?
it takes it to a
A
whole
whole another
level.
level.
Indeed.
That's
but
right.
Is this a thing you guys
You
say
ready-
every
you ready,
day, like when
Micah?
you get in there?
every time. Again, with the figurative.
It's 10 a.m. It's time to brew. 6 a.m. 5 a.m. time to brew.
5 a.m.
And
time
you
to
just
brew.
you just
5
yell
a.m. usually.
whole nut 11. We
Oh,
guys just
nada.
Well, then
There you
that
go.
brings up a question outside of your own, your own beers, your own business. What are you guys drinking right now?
I like whiskey and Guinness.
Yes.
And then I also drink tiki drinks a lot. If I had,
Ooh.
at home, I have a Micah can attest to my bar full of rum
He does have a large bar full of rum in his
I used to not
in his
appreciate
kitchen.
rum when I was younger, but now
It's
rum
so
is
good.
really dynamic. It's got a lot of things going
There's
for
so
it.
many
a lot of
different
sugar in it.
There's so many different.
I hate it.
There's so many different rums, though. I mean, it's like Bacardi Silver is like vodka, basically. When you really like look at the vast world of rum, like Jamaican rum and Puerto Rican rum and rum from Virgin Islands and all over the Caribbean, it's amazing, and they're so different from island to island and water source to water source, and whether they're using cane sugar or molasses or however they're distilling it. If they have a single column still or if they have multiple column still, it changes the flavors and the humidity when aging in barrels and what kind of barrels they're using. I mean, there's almost as many variables in rum as there is in beer, and I think that's probably why I love both of them so much.
And we've entered my hard liquor podcast. How is Distill a thing?
Coming soon
that
to
was
a
a good
tiki,
one. That was a
tiki
good
bar
one.
near you. It's Mike.
Yeah. So what are you drinking, Micah? Now we're on this.
I've been drinking a lot of kombucha lately, just because
Yeah,
I've got
yeah.
two cultures going on. In fact,
soft
I've actually,
kombucha or hard kombucha?
soft kombucha, just
Yeah.
regular old kombucha.
Yeah,
I've got
it's
some
good
if
for
you
the
guys want
gut.
to try it.
I would-
Let's do it.
I'm down for kombucha.
He actually made a kombucha with rose geranium out of his
What?
out of his yard, and we then as
got a
an
little stash.
inspiration as an inspiration from that kombucha made a kettle sour that we call Rose First.
Oh, yeah,
where we
that's
do-
Okay, hold on. This
I was
glass.
going to say, wait a minute. Thanks for joining our new podcast, Ben Baker and the Booch.
Yeah.
I'm Baker.
and the
And this is the booch.
Oh my
Now-
God, he's legit bringing out little jars,
Moonshine?
Yeah,
little
this
teeny
is
jars
yeah.
with lids.
Yeah, I'm like, thanks for the urine sample. I do have a test tomorrow.
No, it's cute.
It's my sister's, and she's pregnant.
Yeah,
Is this the Rose?
No, this is just a kombucha. This is just
straight up,
Just
unflavored.
tea.
This
yeah.
is
So
how
this
it
is just a tea kombucha. Some of them have a little bit of splash of ginger in there, but no, it's just a black tea kombucha.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't open mine because I can't hold this mic any different way.
Oh, yeah,
or else it'll just rattle like
Thank
crazy.
God
in
you
the
invited a
recording.
lady to this podcast to,
Thank you.
serve the host.
Yeah, god damn it. I
A
don't
lady
feel, I
with
don't feel
working
good about
hands.
it.
Leave the tip on the
Yeah.
table.
Yeah, here's the other thing. I also love, I used to host the Ransacked podcast among other podcasts.
Yeah, wasn't that so fun?
I loved it.
Oh my gosh, I
It
really
was-
loved
What was
it.
the other podcast?
Ransacked?
So yeah, back in the day, my writing partner Isaac Gonzalez and I. Hey Isaac, what's up? P.S. We're friends again.
Yeah, nice.
We started a podcast here in 2013, just talking about like local issues, and yeah, he seems to be doing really well. Like he's got a big boy job now, and
Yeah.
like wears clean clothes. I'm really proud of him.
Yeah,
A
good for
big
him.
boy job.
Yeah.
And then you
What does
just
that mean?
down in the gutter, right?
No,
Yes, I am trolling the gutter,
I'm on beer.
Well, I'm
drinking
just,
outside of Rubicon, going why?
I'm just very happy that I don't have to do any hosting on this because you're just like, I got it. I've got years of
I
experience.
know. I'll hold back. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
It's
no,
like a
it's fine.
reflex.
I love it. It makes my job so much easier.
No, it's nice having two hosts.
Yeah.
1.5.
But this, yeah, right. I'm not, right. I'm the half. And,
I was
no,
going to
I
say
got
that
it.
as well.
I
but
got it. I understand.
manly,
The- The worst part is I'm going to try to ask
Yeah.
Cindy questions, and she's
I'm
going
ready.
to turn it into a question to you guys. No matter
No,
what.
I'm ready.
She's
I'm focused.
Deflecting nonstop.
Let's lock eyes awkwardly on an audio podcast.
Cindy, when we first met, it was 2009. I don't
It
know.
was?
2011, 2012. I don't know when it was. You were working with Ray Molino and Alfonso Portela on Comedy
Yes.
Space, doing some sketch work.
That's when I considered dabbling in comedy, which is I don't not consider it now. Like I like to
Right.
think it's kind of like Spanish. Like I can speak enough to get by, but don't ask me to interpret like what's going on.
You don't not consider it.
I don't not.
So you do consider
She
it.
does consider it.
Yeah, wait, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was really fun. Like I really, and it gave me a great like little tiny foot into like Sacramento's like comedy scene, which I think is so impressive. Like there's some really great people that not only come through but really represent like what you guys are all about. And I mean, you've grown exponentially. Like you're running shows and
Yeah.
bossing people around, and yeah,
I don't boss anybody around. I explain to them firmly why they're doing dumb things.
yes.
It's different
and that you're
than
not
bossing.
mad, but you're disappointed.
Yes, very fatherly.
Disappointment's worse than mad.
Dude.
know.
Right?
Yeah.
When
No, please be mad at me.
the,
Like,
ra-
just
the,
whoop me.
the rare
Real-
occasion that I get from my wife, I'm just disappointed in you. It's
It-
gut wrenching.
It wrecks you.
Gut-
Now
Just
this is our
wrenching.
therapy
it another joke?
podcast.
But here, but
joke you've told?
But the thing is that like I learned.
Here's
I
a form
learned
of
from that.
therapy.
I was gonna
I
say,
learned from
sponsored by Kleenex.
I learned from that. She's my
Bring a
rock.
tear to my eye.
No, but I really like the whole comedy scene, and like I said, like it seems like everybody's really taken off. And you're strictly stand up, right? Like, do you do sketchy stuff?
Not in a while. I've done sketches in the past. I kind of was like, I'm not really good at them. Then it turned out I was decent at them. But
sure,
yeah.
Sometimes I dream about signing up for like the improv class just for fun, but then this is a safe space, right?
Dedicate your time and money.
I'm kind of afraid of the other people that are in improv.
Because they're too intense with
Yes.
their improv?
Yes. I will be swallowed by a sea of improv and nerds. I don't know if I'm ready for that.
I'm sure it's a lot.
When I was in college, my neighbors were all drama majors, and it was the worst thing that ever happened to me.
They're the nicest people. Don't get me wrong.
They're very sweet, but there's so much.
Yeah.
There's so much to deal with.
Yeah.
They take extra to an extra level?
Yeah. Now,
The
stand-up
H&M.
comics are
Right.
also
Oh,
terrible
level.
to associate with on extended periods of time because
Sure.
they're all neurotic. They're like in their own feelings, but
That's
like
what makes them
they
funny.
lash out, and it's just like, oh, I don't want to be in this conversation.
Hey,
right
you should
now.
try hanging out with brewers for long periods.
I
Well,
do.
brewers seem like nice people, you know.
Yeah, we're pretty mellow.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
depends
but
on the
lousy
brewer.
sense of humor, I'm telling you.
I should
the
be sent to a
Sacramento-
penitentiary.
Sacramento comedy scene. Actually, we have a great comedy scene here. I think Comedy Spot, they're doing a lot of stuff down there.
We have an open mic here every Monday.
And
you really?
every Monday we do an open mic here. It's funny, though. I've met a few
by
people
Autumn
that
Sky.
are comics, and
It was awesome.
people
Yeah.
come into them and say, hey, you're a comic, tell me a joke.
Right.
Like on the
It
spot.
doesn't work like
you know, it's
that.
like you wouldn't walk up to a proctologist and say, hey, you're a proctologist. Can you just...
Can you check this out for me?
It depends on how cute he is.
I don't know.
Which reminds me of a joke. Since we're talking about comedy, this is one of my father-in-law's favorite jokes. He said, the prostate exam wasn't so bad until I realized that both the doctor's hands were on my shoulders.
Oh, boy. Yeah, that's
Happy
one you're gonna
Valentine's
cut
Day,
out of there.
everybody.
Yeah,
Because there was a
that's right.
second
Yes, please.
proctologist doing the job
Doing
correctly.
his job. Yes.
Oh,
Just steady,
boy.
steady as he goes. That's all that other one was
Oh,
doing.
boy.
I'm learning a lot.
Yeah.
Tough crowd, I tell you.
There we go.
Tough crowd.
Yeah, I'm just here to make sure everything's okay.
Yeah. It's working.
Yeah, but so you've done comedy. You've done the Ransacked podcast.
Yes.
You've done radio work. You've done
Have.
political work. You've
Have.
done production.
Yes.
You've done fill in the blanks.
All of those
restaurant touring of sorts.
Well, I will say, yes, I have done all those things. That's
Yeah.
a deep cut right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm a big fan of like podcasts in general, and anybody like who starts to kind of get involved with them or starts to, want to build their own show and stuff like that. I've been really lucky to help other people get their shows going. But I truly believe in the medium, and that like when I graduated college here at Sac State, I really wanted to work in broadcasting, and nobody would give me a job. Like I was like, I will sweep floors, I will file stuff. Back in the day when you would file stuff.
When there was rooms full
right,
of
and so
file cabinets.
Isaac and I started a podcast in his garage, and that built enough for me to develop a reel. Through radio, I was able to get a job in TV. Last year, I won my first Emmy.
Oh,
and you just never know.
congratulations.
Oh my gosh, thanks. And you just never know. Like if you stick with it and you really like, if your commitment to your passion is real, I truly believe like great things can happen.
What was your Emmy for?
It was for writing and producing. We did a special series on Fox 40 about the East Area rapist.
Oh, okay.
And so I got a shiny little.
So it was comedy.
Yes, definitely.
Well, she did mention passion, and passion is...
Blunt force trauma is
our most
definitely my
important
passion.
ingredient.
It was probably a crime of passion, I guess.
Well, and I mean that guy is like still alive. So,
so
and they
creepy.
caught him and all that. I know. So
That
it'd be
whole
fun to
thing
do
was-
like a follow-up project or something, just to like I think I've been watching too much Mindhunter.
No
And
such
that, like
thing.
I think I can like get alone with him and like Clarice Starling, but but now I'm just like a nice government agent. I work for the state assembly, and back in the day when I was writing and producing, I would always be like, no, never. I'm never going to get a 9 to 5 because the fire burns too hot. Like,
Yeah.
But then I found out about this thing called health insurance.
Ooh.
And weekends. I don't know if
Weekends.
you guys know about them. Yeah, because you guys
I
are
just
so
recently
busy.
got my weekends back.
Yes,
And it's
aren't
an
they
amazing thing.
amazing? Yeah,
It's
so
ama-
it's
it's
been.
amazing.
I'm down with this whole 9 to 5 life. It's been really great. So
So you talking about the whole the DJ thing? It's funny because actually years ago in Sacramento, I went to National Broadcasting School.
You can hear it in his voice.
This was
Yeah,
a
he's
thing.
doing
This
his
was
radio
actually
voice right
a
now.
thing.
Let's all get into our radio voices for the rest
Hey,
of the show.
gotta tell you,
We got
and
Calvin
then
Crawford
moved to
across the
Reno,
table
and then
from
did
him.
radio up there. But yeah,
Yeah, this is
National
how you do it
Broadcasting
now.
School.
it's
weird.
definitely a thing. Well, and that's what makes it so tough now. Like the industry is such a blur of like people who just kind of rise up out of YouTube, and I don't know if you guys know about the TikToks, but I'm kind of loving them right
The
now.
TikToks.
Yeah, so
My kids do.
yeah, I would never. I'd be caught dead, like trying to make a video or whatever. But I will troll. It is so funny. It teaches you about the youth and the cultures and like what they're into and stuff like that. So, yeah.
I'm not going to learn about the Utes by going out and hanging around them.
I don't think you're allowed to do that.
I know, no, that would be creepy.
This is going to be a great episode. I'm
Yeah.
very
That's the
excited
band in the
about it.
background.
That's
case
the
no
Nipper
one got
Brothers.
that.
The Nipper Brothers.
Sound check.
They're getting ready
Nipper
to knit.
Brothers sound check.
6 p.m. showtime. You'll know that. It already happened by the time you're listening to this.
It's true.
But I always,
This is they're Grateful Dead,
they're inspired.
right? Well, they're not actually Grateful Dead. No.
They're not. Yeah,
No.
but it's
You
actually,
guys.
I don't keep track of who's in it now. It's very possible one of them is in
Sure.
the band.
Or maybe this
I thought
is
I
the
saw
band.
Bob Weir, but I think it was just a regular guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would like to, if we have time, maybe put in a shameless plug for our 4-year anniversary / 1-year anniversary, which is February 29th. It's coming up. We're going to have 2 different bands, 3 different food trucks. It's going to be an incredible day / evening with lots of noise and fun-filled beer drinking people and just good times for the whole family.
Do you guys got any special beers coming out for it? Do you got any special events, special brews?
We do.
Do we?
Well, we're going to have cans of Records IPA for
There
the
we
first
go.
time. We're also going to have a release of which. Let's see here. The Gemini Project's already out.
Keep going. I'm following you.
When's the Irish?
That'll be in March.
Yeah, so we recently brewed a dry Irish stout, and they're going to be rebrewing our red ale, both to be released for St. Patty's Day.
And also for the Pikeys, yes.
a local Irish punk rock band
Oh,
called
the
the
Pikeys.
Pikeys.
I know them.
Yeah, they're super
Yeah,
rad
Carl
people.
Ogren is one of my
They're
good friends.
so rad. So we collaborated with them to make the Pikeys Irish American Red Ale,
You're right. He did tell me about that. Good point.
and we're brewing it again to
coming
make
again.
sure that it's
But wait,
on
there's
draft
more.
for their show. But the week before their show is One-Eyed Riley.
One-Eyed Riley, yeah.
So
On the 6th.
and my love of Guinness directed me toward making a dry Irish stout.
Weird.
I want to drink a stout that finishes dry and is clean and is under 5 or right around 5%, so I can have like 3 of them and not be wasted.
8.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Well, and that
3
seems
or 8.
nice because a lot of times when you drink those kinds of beers, and this is my amateur palate here, but it's always like coffee or a mocha or like heavy. It's nice to be able to have it be
It's still gonna
A
have
session
it's still
beer,
gonna have
right?
that kind of like coffee flavor and some chocolate notes,
Right.
But it's
it'll-
more of a purist thing. It's
but
more
it-
of a purist.
right, and it should finish on the drier side, not the sweeter side. I mean, our local stouts are all huge and syrupy, and
Yeah.
it's brownie batter in my opinion. I mean, they're delicious. Don't
like
get me
butter.
wrong.
big
They're
stick.
But you can
delicious.
only drink like half of one, right?
Yeah, I mean, give me a 10-ounce pour at most, and that's about all I want to drink.
Then you chew it.
But but like Calvin said, I'll drink like 8 pints of a low ABV stout
I've seen this.
over several hours with lots of water in case my wife is listening.
Yeah, I mean, big beers can be a lot of fun, but they sneak up on you for sure. We've got a Furthermore Susan, which is our Imperial IPA that comes out at 11.5%.
11.5%.
And
Now,
whew, you
is
see people
furthermore,
order a full
Susan,
pint,
what
and
you
you're just-
say when you've had 2 of them, and you're like just having a discussion? You're like, furthermore, Susan, I was just
There's a little story
Drinking-
behind that.
She was living in a single room with 3 other individuals. One of them was a male, and the other 3 were female. God only knows what they were up to in there. And furthermore, Susan, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised to learn that all 4 of them habitually smoke marijuana cigarettes.
okay.
Reefers.
That's where that came from.
Okay, we know the clip. Sublime. We got
Right.
it.
So-
and then-
Marijuana.
right. Okay. So it's a dank double IPA.
It is, actually.
Okay.
But it's so easy drinking, though. It's deceptive. Super deceptive.
For 11.5%. I mean,
Oh
it's
my
warming.
gosh,
Like
dude.
whenever I have it at like 8:30 in the morning, it warms me up.
Seriously, after like the 4th or 5th one, for me, I mean, I start to notice it. That's just me, though.
Well, that's what's so sneaky about. I went through a brief Brut IPA phase.
We all
Those
did.
are sneaky.
Brewers
right?
also went
Yeah.
through.
I really
Brut
wish
IPA
that
phase.
Brut IPAs had caught on.
Why didn't they? I mean, they're dangerously ezy to drink.
I think that I think to be a really how do I want to put this? I want to put this in a way where I don't come across as cynical as I am. But in order to be really popular in today's beer market, you need to make beer that doesn't taste like beer. is how it seems to my cynical eye anyway, right? Which is
the
why
Rosatelli, though.
I'm trying to resist and brew an Irish red ale and a dry Irish stout, but that doesn't mean that I'm not trying to brew the pastry stouts and the hazy IPAs and the milkshake IPAs and kettle sours and stuff, because I want attention.
Yeah, right. You got to give the people what they want.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that is really important to me. I want us in the tap room at minimum to have a beer for everybody, even if it's a beer style that I'm not a big fan of.
Yeah,
But dude, I gotta go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, to me, I think the Brut IPA tried to be like that. Don't make it taste like beer for as long. The idea was get that aftertaste out of their mouth as quick as it can.
I guess
wash
you're
out
right.
Clean.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I didn't think about it
still
that way.
gives you the beer, but it's like, but people don't want beer. They want a hazy that's got this fruity, citrusy, sweet. And you're like, no, I'm going to give you a West Coast IPA that doesn't rip your throat out. I'm going to give you a soft one. Mm-hmm. And they're like, no, that's not what I'm actually drinking.
Right, and the really good ones finish super
And that was also the
dry,
problem, yeah.
and they're just like, and they're
Just wash right out.
they're a little bitter, and they're
It's gone. It's gone in an instant.
That's why I loved them.
I love them. But the problem that we had, and Cindy, you know all about this. This is a fun joke for us. Cindy's not with us, no longer with us. Died 2 months ago.
Right.
We're doing a podcast. We can't be offering assistance. We're busy. No. But like you touched on, when you have a good one, they do that. But the problem was a lot of them were not good. They didn't clean out. They actually left a cloying, weird, malty film.
Yeah.
And it just didn't, because they use a different yeast. Maybe it's a yeasty thing that just
Maybe it is
stays in
yeasty
there
thing,
and
yeah.
just
Dude, the Rosatelli, man. Talk about the
Rosatelli was great,
That was
yeah.
phenomenal. It was
So
one of
we-
my favorite beers I've ever had in my life.
We brewed
My life.
a really dry, simple IPA, and then added amylase to the fermenter and dried it out to less than 0 degrees Plato.
boy.
And then added
How do you do it?
right? and then added
Enzymes is how you do
That's
it.
how you do it. But then we added hibiscus, which gave it a lovely light pink hue and just a touch of sweetness to kind of bring
So beautiful.
bring you away from the edge of too dry.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was great, and I'd love to do that again. But the thing is that as a style, it just didn't take off,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Does that answer your question, Cindy?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for explaining that.
Yeah, and I mean, you are kind of constricted by what people are willing to buy. And if something isn't trendy, well, sometimes you have to just move on and brew the trendy thing just so you can keep the doors open, right? But
And then
We're
you
pretty
empty a fermenter and you brew what you want and hope that it sells. That's my whole idea.
yeah, we're pretty lucky here to have a good combination of beers that really do move, and that lets us play around with some other more creative things that we think are really interesting, but maybe aren't going to sell as well. But
Like a lavender honey
gives
whip.
us-
Exactly.
We've got 16 taps, so I mean, there's a little room there to play around, and then also, like you said, just do stuff that people want and enjoy, and we try to think outside of the box, be creative whenever we can, and
Well, are people really demanding the quad IPAs? It just seems like they're getting stronger and stronger to where it's almost like a pop in the mouth, which is fun, the first sip that you have. But by the fourth, you're like, woo, I'm getting blowout here. Is that trend kind of going down, or is it?
I feel like that trend's kind of gone down
Yeah.
with the rise of the juicy, sweeter, hazy IPAs.
Yeah.
And then now there's, a newer trend of the
Don't say it.
seltzers.
Oh, okay.
Hard seltzers.
Zima, you zin me.
Which we haven't brewed one yet.
But if that's what the people are asking for,
And I drink the shit out of LaCroix. I am that basic. I drink grapefruit LaCroix like it's water.
Pamplemousse.
Pamplemousse
That
is my
is the
favorite
best
thing.
flavor.
I drink so much of that stuff. I actually call all sparkling water just pump. Not pop.
Do you
pump.
do the coconut one? Because I feel like that one needs rum. Every time I drink it,
I've never had it with rum, and I'm gonna stop at the grocery store on
There
the
you
way
go.
home now.
it's like a little vacation.
That sounds amazing.
All right, so since Calvin's gone, Micah, we're going to get back to you. I feel we don't know anything about you as a human being.
Okay.
He makes kombucha. He brings lavender, and you're very outdoorsy. You're very interested in what nature can provide to humanity.
Yeah, I mean, I love being in the outdoors. I spent a lot of my time in my 20s surfing. That's kind of my go-to sport.
That makes sense. This all
And-
adds up.
Do a lot of mountain biking now these days that we don't live so close to the beach. So yeah, I definitely love being outdoors when I can.
Why don't you mention where your pedigree, if you will, like where you came from?
Okay. Well, I got my start at Firestone Walker.
Oh.
So I was there for about
No big
3
deal.
years.
Yeah. Just my favorite brewery of all time. No,
Me too.
And I worked for a little division of theirs called Barrel Works. So I was doing the barrel-aged sour beers. I did that for about 3 years, and then I wanted to kind of up my technical knowledge, so I enrolled at UC Davis and did the Master Brewers program. And then from there, I ended up working here at Tower.
So that's a
a
segue.
get.
It's a segue back to following one's passion, right? Is that
I see what you're doing.
he left
Passion first.
Passion first. That was one of our great beers. But anyway, he left what he was doing and a job that I'm sure he loved to further his knowledge and to follow that passion further. And I really respect that about this guy.
Well, and this town kind of, I feel like, provides those kinds of opportunities. I mean, we're not the Bay Area. We're not Southern California. So if you want to take kind of risks when it comes to flavor profiles and an overall sense of community, Sacramento, I think, really can provide that for all different kinds of industry. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, and if you're willing to put in some volunteer hours and try really hard and really truly follow your passion, you can go from being a nobody on Instagram to writing some articles for Beers and Sac to volunteering at everything that you can to pour beer for free, and then end up tending bar, slanging as many beers as I can, and then end up the head brewer of Tower Brewing Company.
Yeah.
That's a weird story. I don't think it's believable. I don't even know if there's anybody that's ever done that.
No, I don't think so.
I think Beyonce did that.
Oh, yeah, that's how
Yeah.
she got her start. I forgot.
Totally.
Right.
Yeah, then she owned her own brewery. Then she's like, I'm going to dabble in music. Wait, first nightclub? I might be confusing her with Macy Gray. And then,
Yeah.
They do, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think also, I mean, it's easy to say, like, if you're just really passionate about, fill in the blank, whatever you're into, then you can make it. That's not always true, too. I
You
mean,
gotta be able to put in the
like,
work.
when it comes to podcasting and I'm sure, like, brewing and stuff like that.
I love when people ask me, oh, is that paid pretty well? I'm like,
Right.
I'm hemorrhaging money.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
it takes a lot of passion to keep going on a brewer's salary. Let's leave it at that.
Well,
Yeah.
and there, you
It's
have
also
to
a
like get
fact.
over that hump of like you have all these like big goals and crazy dreams, and then when you get into the monotony of doing the work of like having to make schedules and make recipes and show up at 5 a.m. and figure out what to do if a guest doesn't show up. Like I think the true testament is being able to work through those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And set your bar kind of low when it comes to your level of success. Like if you become Instagram famous and that's what you wanted, then good for you.
Yeah, good on you. But
But
Yeah,
it's just really tough out there. You
set reasonable goals and hope you achieve them and exceed them. That's really...
adulthood.
Yeah.
adulting. I've never heard anybody almost give a cheerleader like chant for adulting before, and it was uplifting.
It might happen again. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never once thought that I'd be like that happy about it. I don't know if I am still.
So what are we drinking here? I don't even know.
So that's the Records IPA that I just gave
Oh,
you.
okay, perfect. Yes, excellent.
And the boys are drinking One More Tommy, our blonde ale,
Okay. We're trying
named
it.
after a couple of our favorite patrons.
Yeah, the adopted parents of Tower Brewing Company,
The
Tommy
legendary
and JoJo.
Tommy and JoJo.
They're a couple who have been
Frequenting her establishment?
they have been frequenting our establishment pretty much since we opened. They're here at least a couple times a week. Everybody that works here knows them by first name and last name basis, and JoJo will usually give you a kiss on the cheek, and they're just like the raddest people. And anyway, but JoJo would always say, just one more, Tommy. Just one, because she just wanted another beer.
Right.
So I was sitting there having one more beer with Tommy and JoJo, and
It was a little more aggressive than that, though. It was more like, one more, Tommy.
well, yeah,
We're trying to sell it as a sweet story.
it is a
Right.
sweet
It is
story,
a sweet
though.
story. They're sweet people.
But anyway, so then his 60th birthday was coming up, and I was like, okay, well, we're going to make a really light, easy drinking
Right.
beer for these people and name it after both of them by calling it One More Tommy. And,
And we all need a cool down beer at the end of the night just to sober up.
right?
Well, I'm a big fan of how this beer drinks. I mean, it's a blonde ale that drinks like a lager. Has a little bit of that almost like sulfury character. The East Kent Golding, I don't know, it just gives it a nice lager drink.
It's my daily drinker for sure.
Nice.
What kind was I drinking?
So
The
I
second
gave
one.
you the second one's the Gemini Project.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
The Gemini Project is
It's our newest one. Collaboration.
Yeah, that's
It
a
was
collaboration
real
we
good.
did with Oak Park Brewing Company. We did a two-way collab where we brewed together here and brewed together at their facility. We brewed a West Coast style, clean and clear IPA at their facility, and over here we did the same grain bill and the same hops, but treated it like a hazy, right? It's like the Northeast style.
Gotcha.
And so, are you working with Jeff and Becca?
Yeah.
Jeff and Raj,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
So, and actually, Raj, one of the brewers over there, founded the homebrew club that I got my start in Sacramento,
Myself
and
involved.
where I met Calvin. And it was
Underground Brew Squad, baby.
Underground Brew Squad.
That's
And
right.
It was so cool to be able to connect with Raj on a professional level, and then I worked with Jeff while I was tending the beers
7.
at Track 7. So when he split ways with them, and I saw him land on his feet at Oak Park, I was super stoked for Jeff and Becca because they are like the raddest people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that that's a good testament of like how tight some of these circles in Sacramento are.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
all these different industries we kind of overlap, and I know without getting all into it, I agree that I think that the Scotts are really great people, and Jeff and Becca are both like equally really talented, and so it's
Yeah.
really great to see them like back on the scene and kind of
Yeah, I love it.
making their mark and I like that they're not, they're not trying to make, any kind of groundbreakers or like crazy game changers. They make consistently good beer, like from the heart.
sure.
So it's really great to see
Well,
them.
and I
come
highly
back.
recommend you head over there because they've got both the Gemini Project beers on draft side by side, so you can actually taste them
Yeah.
side by side.
We can legally only serve the one that we brewed here, but they have a restaurant, and
And they can do it.
therefore they have the license
taps.
to be able to have a guest tap. I'll be heading over there tomorrow with the wife, probably for lunch, to grab both and check out their seltzer bar.
Oh.
Oh,
Okay.
they have a whole bar over there?
Well,
for-
they brewed a base seltzer, and then Raj every Monday comes in and makes
Little additives.
yeah, he makes simple syrups. So he'll spend like half of his day on a Monday just making simple syrups.
Get a PB&J burger, dude.
The PB&J burger is insanely
I have
delicious.
convoluted feelings
Like a
about the
rush.
P.
It is so good.
Or the PB.
It's so
Really?
good.
Yeah.
I thought it would be terrible.
Peanut
I
butter.
ate it.
Why?
It was,
Peanut
it was
butter,
delicious.
Well,
It
the
was
first time I ever had
delicious.
one of those was over at Fanny Ann's. Well, the first time I ever had it was there's a Fanny Ann's. But it's called the Bear,
yeah.
Madison Bear
Madison
Garden
Bear
in Chico.
Garden up in
And yeah,
Chico.
they
Oh,
like
okay.
slap on like the cheese, the bacon, and a big old thing of crunchy peanut butter.
Right.
So good.
Ooh.
It's the best.
It just makes
it
it
is
like
so good.
smoky and creamy.
Yeah.
But
delicious.
they put
It has
jelly on this
everything.
one too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It literally has everything except for sour. That's the only thing. It's the only flavor you're missing.
Hits all the
You know?
umami.
I-
Hits all
yeah,
the
I
it
lo- I-
almost hits the umami note because it's just missing
So
that little
close.
sour.
But it always sounds you can't sell it to anybody. You can't tell somebody just go order it. You got to
Right.
order one and cut them a piece and be like, try
Oh yeah,
it.
And then they're
I'll
like,
have a bite
oh,
of it.
okay.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I won't order my own.
Oh,
Right.
I'll order my own every time.
You know, that's
They're
actually
so good.
the first time. Well, the first time I ever tried it, I was there eating like a chicken po' boy, I think, and the lady next to me, we started talking, and she ordered one. And I said, I was thinking about that, looking at that, and she cuts off a piece of her burger
Yeah.
and gives it to me, and she's like, "Here, try this."
That's so nice.
Right? I mean, that's the community we're
And that's
talking
how
about.
you got hepatitis.
I got better,
better. She turned me into a nuke.
So just
but no, it was kind and delicious. Yes.
just proving my point that's us PB&J burger fans know what to do, which is cut off a piece.
That's right.
You can't. They're like, what
Reduce
is that?
them
I would
into the
never. I would
cult.
never eat that. And you're like, just try it.
Just try it.
Mom's gonna give you a little free taste.
A little free
quick.
taste.
The next one's a little
First
extra.
one's free,
Well, if you guys are hungry, we got Mama's Tacos outside too, and those guys are
which is
amazing.
phenomenal. She's legit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mama's Tacos.
really.
She
highly
feeds you like
recommend.
she's your mom.
That should be the
Not
tagline.
your mom
They should-
specifically, Calvin. I meant
That should be the
overall.
tagline, though.
She feeds you like she's your own mother.
Yeah.
All right, so we have to start wrapping up. I have to take a trip later today, so I do apologize.
Where are you headed?
You have to take a trip.
I have to go to
Mushrooms?
DMT, mushrooms, Monterey, wherever you want to go.
All right.
Monterey. It's
Good trips. Good trips.
Yeah. So, anything people need to know about Tower Brewing before we get out of here? Any important factoids, events, whatever?
Anniversary, baby.
Yeah, the anniversary,
Of course.
29th of February.
That's a Saturday.
Leap day. It's a leap day too.
It is a leap year,
And a
so
leap
that
year.
does make
So
it
jump
our
for joy.
Yeah, it's our 4th anniversary as a brewery because we
Phil
were
and Froggy,
formerly
come on
Sacktown
down.
Union. And it's also our 1st anniversary as Tower Brewing Company.
Perfect timing. Yeah, I do like. Sorry, I was just going to go back to those beautiful I didn't realize it when I said it initially. I'm like, oh, you have a Tower, like a Records IPA in honor of Tower Records. I'm like, oh, wait, when you put your label on it, it will say Tower Records. I'm an idiot.
That's why we did it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very slow sometimes at picking up what you're putting down.
You cut on.
I mean, it's
But
only
that's
been
what makes you a good host. You know?
Technically, it's Tower Brewing Company presents Records IPA, though. Just for the legalese.
But it looks like
But yeah, actually, we've got a great graphic designer named Killian, and he whipped that thing out in no time.
Killian of Great Raven Designs. He's young and out of West Sacramento. Has done some really cool work for us. He actually designed our new logo, as well as label art for a few cans that we've done so far.
And you guys have merch, right?
We have some T-shirts. We have some hats. We have Monkey Knife Fight long sleeves. We have Monkey Knife Fight short sleeves. We got Tower shirts in both men's and women's. We have growlers,
patches.
glassware,
We got stickers.
patches, stickers.
We have no badges.
No badges though. We don't need no stinking badges.
Can we just do it one more time, Micah?
And what are you guys' vision for Tower Year 2?
H&L.
Like Calvin said, we want to take it to another
level.
No, but really though, what I would really love to do, and something that I want to see come out of this brewery this next year is a little bit of hype. I'm trying to get some attention in the local scene. You know, I want people to realize that this little brewery tucked away in the alley over here in East Sacramento is putting out some great beer. We're passionate about what we're doing. I feel incredibly fortunate to work with the people that I get to work with. I love them all, and we're going to continue making the best beer we can.
Yeah. Now,
We love you too, Mike.
what about a pastry porter? Is that a thing you can do? Because I saw that Imperial Porter in there called Death of Pros, which is a lovely name.
It's called Murder of Pros.
Murder of Pros, yes.
Right. There's a
Take on Murder of Crows.
Murder of Crows.
Yeah, but also Murder of Pros.
Yeah, that's probably my second favorite beer on the list right now. And it was the idea was to make not quite a pastry porter, but a strong porter.
But if you're trying to get that
leaning
hype,
toward that
pastry porter.
That's
That's your take.
There it is.
I don't know.
So I got to throw like actual cake into the mash tun,
Right in the batter.
and make sure it's on Instagram, so people
did you
see
say
what we're
cake?
doing.
Yeah.
Actual cake.
Like what
into
kind
the,
of cake?
Like German chocolate.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh.
just take a whole sheet cake from Costco and throw it in there.
Because you get that coconut. Everybody loves coconut.
Everybody loves
Okay,
coconut.
so I've been doing this weird thing where they save space. Pepperidge Farm makes a cake for 8. It's coconut.
Cake for 8?
Yeah. It
What is
turns out
that? That
one
sounds like a
person-
challenge.
one
That sounds
person
like a
can
cake
eat the whole thing.
cake for 2, maybe.
Yeah, I found out twice.
Pepperidge
So it was a
Farm
cake for
remembers.
16.
Yeah.
Hopefully in one sitting.
Anyway,
There's no
let's-
shame.
There's no
Come on.
shame.
Cake for 8. What else goes on?
45
it's
minutes
supposed to be
later.
for 8 people.
It's supposed to be for 8 people, but
What does it
it's
consist
coconut.
of?
Throw that in the beer, and I will be here every day.
Okay, so you're saying that we need to make coconut imperial
Yes.
porter.
There you go.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the idea.
If you want to do cake
A
right
little
in there,
like hint
just
to your like
you
tiki
call-
drinks, you know.
I love tiki drinks so much,
See?
and when I want to drink a tiki drink, I want to go to the Jungle Bird, which is great, and
Right.
just go
I mean,
have
that's
somebody
exact-
else make them for me.
Now, if you're feeling fancy, have you ever gone to the Water Boy
I have
and
gone
you
to the
sit
water.
at the bar and you can get the tiki drinks they have there?
I've never had a tiki drink
Yes,
there.
they have
I've
a
only
whole
had a
selection of the
cheeseburger there, and it's
glasses.
fantastic.
They're great, but yeah, that's like a little
No,
like
they had tiki drinks.
I didn't know they
fun
had
little
tiki drinks.
a fun little like sack secret.
Look at that. Now we
Don't
know.
make reservations. Just go sit at the bar, get little dishes, and they have like if you look like just past the bartender, there's a whole selection of tiki,
buddy, what you got
tiki
with an
glasses,
umbrella, huh?
and they do a full menu of tiki drinks.
Wow,
Oh,
That is good to know.
that is
this
that
is the most valuable thing we've gotten on this episode. kind of the worst.
We did some other stuff too.
Yeah, yeah. And may I suggest a name? If you're gonna throw just cake batter into the mix for a beer to get that hype piece going, might I suggest Batter's Box
Batter's Box.
as a name.
Oh,
Sell to the River Cats games. I don't know.
right. I mean, we
Get it.
do own RB IPA as
Oh, yeah,
a
you
name,
do.
right? We can make that
So you can have that and
alongside Batter's Box.
Yeah, man, I'm fucking raking it in here. I
Yeah.
should just.
Welcome to our sports podcast.
I would love to introduce our new marketing and sales director, Ben Rice.
Oh no! I only have these ideas once a month. This is a bad idea. Don't do it. But I give them away for free like an idiot. I'd be rich. No. All right, Cindy, what's going on for you? I'd like to call back earlier to this conversation when you said you won your first Emmy. As we say, I'm getting a second, bitches.
Hell yeah, you
Well,
are.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm thinking about doing a follow-up project with the aforementioned East Area Rapist. I don't want to say too much about it. Like I said, I think I've just been watching a little bit too much Mindhunter. But I don't know. Sometimes you work really hard to reach like some kind of pinnacle, and then you get it, and then you feel empty inside, and you're like, "Is this all there is?"
Yeah, this is
So,
all I
I'm
got.
trying
I
to
worked so
see-
hard.
Yeah, so I'm trying to see what else is out there. You know.
Yeah. Just EGOT it. Get an EGOT.
That's kind of what I was thinking. I was going to write a song about him,
Yeah.
and then I was going to do a one-woman show.
Yep. And then
The East
make
Area
that-
Rapist and me.
Yeah. And then turn it into a movie.
Right.
Yeah.
With Tracy Morgan as me.
Right.
Yeah.
And you could do your best adapted screenplay. Could even be a thing.
Say Tracy
Yeah.
Morgan?
Yeah.
Tracy
yeah.
Morgan.
I'm EGOTing, baby.
I've been watching a lot of old episodes of SNL, so you know.
Yeah. My favorite. It's the worst one. Is
What?
No, it's probably the best
It was
one.
when what's his name? Garth Brooks had his alter ego.
Ooh, yeah.
Do you remember what is
I
it?
don't remember
Get
that
a-
one.
Chris
Chris
Gaines.
Gaines.
Chris Gaines.
Yeah. So
Yeah, okay.
there's like interstitial sketch where like so Garth Brooks is hosting, Chris Gaines the musical guest. And so Garth Brooks is like running backstage to go to the musical thing, and he gets stopped by Tracy Morgan. And he's like, "Hey man, you're doing a great show. It's just I don't really care for this Chris Gaines fella. I don't know." And he's like, "I always heard he's a really cool dude." He's like, "Nah, man, I don't think he is. I think he kind of like doesn't really bat for the same." And he's like, "Nah, I heard he's real good with lover with the ladies." And it's just, and then Lorne Michaels walks over like, "Hey Tracy, can you kind of leave our guests alone?" And Tracy Morgan just turns to Lorne Michaels like, "Get me a soda, bitch." It's the funniest thing I've ever seen.
He's a genius.
His character in 30 Rock too was amazing.
That whole show really
It was
holds
so
up.
good.
You know?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like it.
I should point out that the interstitials didn't really hold up to time, but the line "Give me a soda, bitch" to Lorne Michaels totally holds up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right. And
Even today.
Yeah.
in 30 Rock, he was like, "Liz Lemon, can I use your office to Google myself?" Of course you can. And he didn't mean what
No.
Yeah.
what we think he meant. He meant what we think we meant.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
feel like we've taken a whole trip around the world on this show.
That's what I
if
try
we
to
have
do.
another half an hour, we can just go on Saturday Night Live for a while. But
Yeah.
I don't think we
I don't think we have the time for it because I'm a monster.
Yeah.
I'm
I
sorry.
still watch it.
Yeah, I have to go get dinner. It's 4 hours away.
Oh, that's
so
right.
I'm very sorry. We have to leave. I would love to spend more
Hey,
time
play
with you.
some Skinner.
You've all been wonderful.
Free bird!
Oh no. Oh man. This is playing us off, so this is beautiful. So before we go, where can people find you guys online if they want to learn more about Tower Brewing, what you guys have going on, what's coming up?
It's a nice long one. It's towerbrewingcompany.com.
We're also on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Untapped.
And some of the dark webs.
The dark webs.
Yes.
Calvin's on the dark webs all the
Yes.
time.
Yeah. What's the Twitter, Instagram handles? I love this question. They never know.
You know,
It's Tower Brewing something or other.
Yeah.
I think
Tower
it's
Brewing
Tower.
Co.
I think it's
At Tower
Tower
Brewing
Brew Co.
Yeah,
Tower Brewing Co.
I love it. It's my favorite thing. Just watching him be like, I think it's. I don't really handle it. I just work here. I don't know.
We have a guy for that.
yeah,
I tag photos and stuff,
Yeah.
but you know,
But
I
it
don't have to-
auto-populates. I
it
don't really pay
auto-populates,
attention.
exactly.
You're just
I don't know my own Instagram
It's like,
address. Come on.
what's your phone number?
blah, 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 blah.
I mean, I know it because
Let me
it's
call
the
you
same
from
phone
my
number
phone.
I've had for like
That's
Yeah,
12
I totally
years.
created an Instagram and then never looked at it again.
Right.
Oh man, sounds right.
I spend like an hour a day mindlessly scrolling through things I don't care about on Instagram.
Yeah, that's called being a human being.
Yeah.
I spend at least an hour.
And then, whenever I want to like actually learn something, I go to Twitter and read news. And then I get angry with our Twitterer in chief, and
Oh, boy, that's what I
and I like sign off.
And concluding
I don't know her.
today's. Oh, good answer.
I wish it was a her.
All right, and then Cindy.
I'm in the majority.
Cindy
You
Baker,
voted
the
for
best guest we've ever had.
Oh, wow. Whew, no pressure. Yeah, no, I'm always kind of around. Like, I really appreciate the sax scene. I got to say, like, I've spent a lot of years just, like, out, going out, doing all the things, shaking all the babies. And it's been nice to kind of, like, hang back a little bit. But I do love the Instagrams as well. You guys can find me at Cindy Vicious on all platforms.
That's Sindee, right?
Thank you. Yes, it is. Yeah.
Because it's Cindy Cindy. So you got to know to spell it differently for Cindy
It's
Vicious.
sin.
Right.
Right, and it's kind of like an homage to Sid Vicious.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, so it's pretty fun. I kind of like the social media. I'm not really on the Facebooks or the Twitters, but I do love those Instagram stories. So keep them coming, guys.
Addicting.
You know what? I know we're wrapping up, and I'm an idiot. I'm just going to throw this in here. We're all of that age where, like, you have Cindy Vicious, right?
Right.
It's an alter ego. Remember when you started using the internet and you didn't use your real name and you come up with, like, an alternate thing? And I feel like, why would you ever do that? You're a brand.
Well, do you want to hear something gross? Of course you do.
Yes.
This is a good closer.
This is how we close it
Safe
out.
space.
So when the internet was first launched, I was in high school and I was really into like the whole like punk and like hardcore scene and stuff like that because I'm a basic B. And so I thought it would be really cool to have my first ever email address was hardcoregal@hotmail.com.
Oh, that's real.
I learned very quickly that hardcore gal is not a good email address to have.
No,
in
that's
the late
very bad.
90s or ever, really. So yeah.
That brings to mind things that are not
Right,
not-
but
not
I thought it
pleasant
meant like
or family
hardcore,
friendly,
hardcore
actually.
music. Like
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
dance and
No.
But no.
So branding is everything.
We all get our
everybody.
life lessons.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, branding is everything.
Yeah. Be your own
You remember
brand.
that time when the band started playing?
Yep, that's our time to go. I've been Ben Rice. You can find Barley and me across social media at Barley and Me Pod. You can get Barley and Me t-shirts at zenthreads.com. That's zen-threads.com. You can we also have a new website, barleyandmepod.com. It's still not real. It exists. You can go there. It's not exciting. This has been episode 120 of Barley and Me. Mike Ungerbuhler, thank you so much.
That's me.
Micah Ochej.
Oh, hey.
Oh, hey, there we go.
hey-o.
Thank you so much. And Calvin Crawford, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ben.
And special guest, Cindy Baker.
Oh my
thank
gosh!
you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for listening. Get home safe.